In today's training, we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between a Facebook business page and a Facebook group. So one of the most common questions that we get is around what a Facebook business page is, what a group is, if you need both, if you need one or the other, how can they be used together, how do you communicate with each audience differently, what content should be posted in each place. So we're going to talk again a little bit about that today. So I want to start off by saying that every business that's going to operate on Facebook needs a Facebook business page. And that is because it's compliant with Facebook's advertising policies. So if you're operating your business from your personal profile, or if you're doing business exclusively in your group and you don't have a Facebook business page, that unfortunately violates Facebook's advertising policies, and you run the risk of getting your group and your profile shut down overnight without any notice. We've seen recently some pretty big groups and some pretty well-known personal profiles get disbanded and shut down overnight, again, without notice, without any chance to resolve the issue, simply because they didn't comply with Facebook's advertising policies. Now, this isn't to say that you need to necessarily link your group to your page, but you do need to have a business page set up on Facebook just in case. And the second reason that every business needs a Facebook business page, besides the obvious that it's policy, is that a Facebook business page is currently required to run any sort of advertisements. So even if you don't plan on running ads today, tomorrow, maybe even next year, you want to make sure you have your Facebook business page set up, because that will allow you to generate a pixel to put on your site so that you're tracking your traffic. Because unfortunately, while you can look back on engagement, so say you set up your business page today and it starts tracking engagement, likes, all that stuff, people that visit your Facebook business page. That's all well and good. And you could feel pretty good about thinking that you're growing your audience and making sure that you're set up for ads in the future. But unless you take, again, that extra step to generate your pixel, place it on your site, when you go to run ads, you're going to have to run ads to either your cold audience or your social media audience, which might not necessarily be the best choice. So a great example of this is a lot of clients come to us in December. They're e-commerce clients, or they want to make some holiday sales, and they say, well, we haven't run ads before, and we just want to reach people that already know and like us. And the first thing that we always do is we look at their site and we check if their pixel is installed. And if their pixel is not installed, all of that traffic that they could have been tracking as long as their business page was operational is just lost. Facebook can't look back and retrieve past website traffic data the same way they can look back and retain social proof data. So unfortunately, what we have to do in that situation is hope that they have a really engaged, a really large Facebook following, or else we're going to have to start from scratch, and we're going to have to target, we might be able to target their mailing list if they have one, but chances are if they don't have their pixel installed, they probably don't have a really good list building strategy. So that was kind of a tangent, but again, even if you don't plan on running ads, really pay attention to this point and make sure you at least set up your business page, make sure you at least set up your pixel. So that's why everybody needs a business page. Now, a Facebook group is a little bit different. So what I like to tell people is that a lot of times your Facebook business page can kind of be like you're standing on stage and speaking to a large audience. And that's how you should really position much of your posts, especially if you're a brand or a business. That's how we typically recommend positioning your posts on a Facebook business page. Now, if you're in a group, it's a little bit more intimate. It's supposed to be a little bit more community-based. It's really where you can find your tribe. And I would picture, when you're posting in your group, I would picture more of a group of people sitting around in a circle and looking at each other in, again, a small circular group of chairs. You're really talking, you're more having a conversation than speaking at somebody. So again, Facebook business page, you're standing up and speaking in front of a large audience, and a Facebook business group is you're sitting with a circle of friends having a conversation. So a great example of this is for our Climbing Vines business. A lot of times I'll post on the business page, I'll post birthday parties, I'll remind people that, we're booking quickly, I'll share photos from past events, and in the group, I'll, utilize the community in there. I know that it's a little bit smaller. I know that these are my real raving customers, the people that didn't just like my page, they actually are, invested in the business. They come all the time. They know the ins and outs. They know me. So a lot of times I'll utilize my closed Facebook community to ask questions, ask for feedback. I'll present new ideas to them and see if they stick. So a great example is if I'm thinking of hosting an event and I'm not sure if people will like it or I'm not sure what to charge for it, I'll ask in the group and I'll say, hey, I'll even just put a poll out there and I'll say, hey, does this sound like something you might be interested in? And people can say yes, no, they can leave feedback, and it's not public in the same sense that their comments would on a page would be. So not only are they more likely to engage with posts in a group because it's private if your group is set to closed or secret, but it's a little bit more intimate and it just has more features, more functionality than a page does to communicate almost one-on-one with your customers. Now, the second thing I wanted to mention about the Facebook groups is that Facebook came out earlier this year in January, and they said that they're going to be prioritizing community building on Facebook. So what that means is they're going to start downgrading Facebook business page posts in the newsfeed and start prioritizing, which means showing people more, posts from groups. So Facebook really wants to focus on, again, that community building, and your followers are a lot more likely to see one of your group posts if they're in your group than a business page post if they're in your page. So if you post on your Facebook business page, 5% of people might see that post. But if you post in your group and your group is really engaged and you've sent signals to Facebook that your content is credible, people like it, people want to engage with it, then as much as 80 or 90% of people could see that post. So again, a lot of people take advantage of groups specifically for algorithm purposes, just to make sure their posts are being seen. But we recommend, again, businesses having a group if your brand or business have any sort of community, or if you have a group of loyal buyers, or if you're looking to get some feedback, or if you just think that you have an ideal customer avatar that you're speaking to and you want to get them together and, again, form a community around your business. Now, a lot of times groups don't really make sense. So, for example, Climbing Vines is kind of borderline. If it was, say, a local ice cream shop, it might not make sense for them to have a business page and a group because, again, unless there's something really, really special about this ice cream shop, it's probably not really necessary and it's probably a little bit overkill and people probably aren't going to want to join it unless they were to give, their community members something special or special discounts or preview events or something like that. But the reason we have one for Climbing Vines, which is our Play Cafe, is it's all parents of small children. We know they could use extra support. We know that a lot of times if someone has a baby, they might not be in to visit. We want them to be able to share updates with us and with our other regular customers. So that's really the reason that a group works in our situation. And we do give them special discounts and referral coupons, things like that for when they give feedback. So your business doesn't necessarily need a group, but if you're willing to put in the time and effort to really build that community and the know, like, and trust with your customers, then you can really see a lot of fruits from this labor. Another great example is we had a client recently who sold wiener dog gifts, and that's all she sold was clothing and accessories aimed at people who own wiener dogs or dash downs, whatever you want to call them. And when she all of a sudden formed this group, she would share design prototypes, she would get feedback, she would give them special discounts, and her group grew so rapidly because she did spend so much time and effort giving these people exclusive things, making them feel like they were heard, making them feel like they could know, like, and trust her. And she's seen more repeat business than ever before. So a lot of people will say, yeah, e-commerce businesses, they just need a page. They don't really need a group. But if you have a niche product and if you have, again, a loyal following and, you want to bring them together and really create a tribe, people that are going to continue buying from you, people that want to share it with their friends who might also fit that ideal customer avatar, then a group is a great way to do that. Now, one last thing I wanted to mention about Facebook groups is there's 3 different types of groups you can have. So you can have a public group, which means everybody on Facebook, as long as they have a Facebook account, can see who's in the group, what they post, what they comment, all that stuff, the content you post, all that stuff. So I really almost never recommend having a public group because there's really no incentive for somebody to join if they can consume all of the content without joining. The second option is private. So this is probably the most common type of Facebook group. So what private means is anyone on Facebook with a Facebook account can find the group and they can request to join. Now they can't see who's in the group or what they're posting, but they can request to join. They can find the group. It's searchable. And this is generally the best practice because you want people to be able to find your group, presumably, but you don't want them to be able to get the content or see what other people are posting unless you approve. And Facebook has a new feature where you can ask group members questions before they join. So for example, if they're members of a program or if they're your VIP members and you want to make sure that only the right people are joining, or say you need a password to join, or you just want to ask them clarifying questions about why they're interested in your group, then you can ask them questions, and those questions, when somebody requests to join, will be sent to the admins and you can either approve or decline their group membership. So private is what I typically use for all of my groups. Just for all of these reasons. I really want people to be able to find them. Even for my paid programs, I want people to be able to stumble upon the paid groups because it gives them almost, FOMO, fear of missing out. So they'll see the group, they'll say, oh, wow, this is for paid members only. Let me check out how I can get in the group, what it costs, who it serves, all that good stuff. So we actually get a lot of our paid group referrals from people just stumbling upon the group, requesting to join, and then I have to kind of message them and say, hey, this is for paid members only. If you're interested in becoming a paid member, here's the sales page, here's what you need to do. And you can also put that in the group description so that people can kind of do self-service and figure it out themselves. Now, the third option is secret. So what secret means is that nobody can search for it, nobody can see who comments. You have to actually invite someone or send them a link to join the group. They won't be able to find it any other way. So a great example of this is when I first became pregnant, I joined a mom's group with some local moms, and nobody else knew we were pregnant yet. We didn't want them to know, and we named the group, I think it was, November 2016 babies. And we all wanted to talk to each other on Facebook, but we didn't want anybody else to know that we were in a group called November 2016 babies, because then everybody would know that we were pregnant and we just weren't quite ready to share the news yet. So we made that group secret. It's still secret and it's still active a couple years later. So that's a really good example of a way to use a secret group, is if you really don't want anyone to find it. This is great for family groups, close friends, acquaintances. If you meet people at an event or something like that, you might want to make the group secret just to make sure that nobody outside of your inner circle can find the group. Now, some people use secret groups for their paid programs, but for the reasons I mentioned before, I use private groups instead of secret because I don't mind if people stumble upon them, but because they can answer questions before joining the group, I can make sure that nobody who isn't a paying member can get in. So those are the three types of groups. I always recommend private. And again, if you have any questions about whether or not your business needs a Facebook group or if a Facebook group could benefit, then definitely ask in the comments. I would be more than happy to walk you through it. And we've taken dozens and dozens of clients through this process. Groups have worked for some of them, groups have not worked for some of them. So we'd love to share. So please ask questions in the comments. And the first things first is set up your business page and make sure you set that up, set up your pixel, and then take the next step and create a group if it fits. So I can't wait to hear about your groups in the comments. If you have a group, share the link below, and we'll see you next time.